That's a picture of my kid's first day of school a couple days ago, last week actually. And what I want to share with you guys today, you've got so much incredible stuff here. I want to share with you the 8 things that make me a great dad. Is that okay with you guys? Or is that okay with you guys? Yeah. All right. So first, it's all about them and how you make them feel. Now, I don't mean it's about spoiling kids and doing everything they want, but kids will learn from you, adore you, respect you, listen to you when they feel understood, not when you get them to try to understand you. What we do is our children will tell us a problem. My kids will come to me, and you first go back and you want to tell them the story. Oh, when I was a kid, I know that happened. Don't worry about it. They'll pick on you. You'll be strong someday. Everything will be great. You'll be a leader. All those things we want to do. We want to get them to understand us. When that just doesn't resonate, they go blank. So you want your kids to feel it and understand it and have a relationship. Get kids to feel understood. Get on their level. Number 2. Enter their world and finish conversations in their heads. We live in a really busy world, and we live in a fast-changing time, don't we? And if you don't know what's going on in your children's minds, what they're doing, what sentences they're saying, what are they talking to their friends about, you could be outdated in 2 seconds. If my son loved Legos and now he's on to little NASCARs, if I'm talking about Legos, I'm outdated, shuts me down. If I don't know the latest games, if I don't know last year Cord was his best friend, now it's Scout. If you don't know those things, if you're not entering conversations they're having, then we're trying to interject and insert our conversations, our thoughts, our ideals, and that's when there's the disconnect. That's when you're a good parent, but you're not connected. You know that difference of if you're a parent, if you're not, and I hope someday if you want to, you will be, or you got nieces and nephews, and I promise this is for everyone, not just the parents, so you'll see at the end. But you know the difference as a parent. Raise your hand in a minute if you know what I'm talking about, when you feel like you're getting along good with your kid. Doesn't matter if they're 5, 15, or 50. And then the other times when you're connected. And you feel that connection, and all of a sudden it's like, I got goosebumps thinking about it. You're just lit up and feel amazing. Do you know that difference? As parents, do you know the difference? That's one of the things, is making sure we're entering conversations in their heads. Next, when problems arise, instead of blame, find the root cause. Now, I'm telling you this one for a reason. My daughter, I'm going to give you a little story here. My daughter was going to school, and she loves school, and she's pretty social, and has lots of friends. And one morning, she doesn't want to go to school. She's like, Dad, I just don't want to go. And she's being whiny, not typical of her. She's whining, I'm not going to go, I don't want to get ready. And my gut instinct was, go get dressed. Go brush your teeth, make your bed, eat breakfast, we're going to school. She said a few more times, and my gut was like, go get dressed, damn it. Like, I was starting to get mad, like, what's going on? And then I just took a moment. And I said, this isn't like her. Let me see if I can figure out why. And I felt really blessed at that moment because it was such a great lesson. And I said to her, Bree, is there something else going on? She's like, no, not at all. I'm fine. I said, Bree, are you failing something? Is this a tough grade? She's like, no. And all of a sudden I started naming her friends. And I got to Olivia, and I watched her physiology change. I watched her face change. I said, babe, what's up with Olivia? She's like, at lunch, Dad, yesterday at lunch for the first time ever, she didn't want me to sit with her. I ended up sitting alone, and I cried, and it felt really weird. And I was literally like, oh my God, I was about to just go right over that, to yell at her, say, get dressed, let's go to school. And then all of a sudden I took that moment and I could see her face. And then I had the opportunity to solve that problem with her. Not for her, with her. And I said, Bree, how'd that make you feel? Her name's Brianna. I said, Bree, how'd that make you feel? She said, not good, Dad. I said, let me just ask you something. You're pretty lucky, right? You're kind of popular. You got lots of friends. It was one day. I said, who in your school sits alone every day? Who is that's a part of their daily routine? And she goes, I don't know. I'm like, no, think about it. She said, Danielle. Danielle's always alone. I said, you know what? How about this? Anytime that ever happens to you again, why don't you go find someone else that needs you rather than worrying about one of your friends not being good? You go find somebody who's been sitting alone all the time and make them feel better. And she goes, you think that would be good? I'm like, oh my God, that would be amazing. So we talk about it. I kid you not, the next day, Danielle was at our house for a play date. The next day. I would have missed that whole opportunity if I didn't dig in, if I just looked at the surface. When people, we all know this, everybody in this room is an entrepreneur, seeking success, doing your own thing, singlepreneur, you're doing your thing. We know there's always steps way below the surface, but we're going so busy so fast, sometimes we just skate over it and we think we got to solve the thing up here when the root cause is way down here, and you solve it and then it creates a lesson for life. Number 4, be authentic and enthusiastic. They know when you truly care. So here's what I know, is we all are busy. We're all running 100 miles an hour. And sometimes when we get home or with our children, no matter what age they are, the enthusiasm is gone for the day. We left it someplace else. And here's the thing, I'm not that smart. I was a kid who lived in a trailer park, and I was homeless with my dad. I lived in a bathroom with my dad. I didn't go to college. I barely got out of high school. And I'm not really that smart. I don't have a huge vocabulary. I don't articulate really well. I use a lot of incredible, amazing, my vocabulary is limited. But if I look back at my TV shows and my offerings and my videos and having blessed them and doing some really great things, it was always my enthusiasm. My enthusiasm always outweighed my knowledge. I'm not good with PowerPoint slides. I'm not good with spreadsheets. I'm not good with overanalyzing. I usually hardly ever do I even have a slide. I just like to go up, but I'm enthusiastic and I speak from the heart and I speak with authenticity. So when you combine authenticity with enthusiasm, you have the opportunity to make an impact on your kids, and they listen and want to be a part of it, right? And they know when you truly care. Here's what I know. I can remember times with my son that he'd be like, Dad, I want to show you this. And I'm coming home from a day, I'm closing a big deal, or I'm in the middle of a launch, or my TV show just launched, and I'm trying to be the dad, but I'm looking at my phone, like, let me just check this really quick. Oh, no, Brody, that thing you colored is really, that Lego thing? And I'm looking, and I can remember my son, he's not the type to go, Dad, put your phone down. My son, Brody, ices me out. He catches me doing that twice because he knows I truly not care about what he's showing me. He'll just shut up and walk away. It's the kiss of death. It kills me. I'm like, oh, crap, I just ruined that moment. But they know. So being authentic even. I'll tell you, anybody ever read the book Love and Logic Parenting if you're a parent? Great book. I'm reading Love and Logic. I'm so authentic with my kids, I'll do a parenting moment and screw it up. And I'll literally tell my kids, listen, I'm reading this book, Love and Logic Parenting, and this told me how I should handle this, and I handled it completely wrong. And then I'll redo it. I'm like, is that better, you think? Just complete transparency? And then literally last week I did something in the way I parented. My daughter said to me, that's not how Love and Logic says to do it. Like, you are 1,000% right. That's a therapy moment, sorry. Number 5. Tell them fun stories with empowering messages wrapped in. I'm going to go back to what I said in the first one when I talked about it's how you make them feel. When something goes wrong, we always tend to tell a personal story or tell logical stories. And how does that work with kids when you tell them about your childhood? If you're a parent, does that work really well? When they're blanked out, they don't want to listen to you, don't want to do it, but here's I want to share something with you. What I discovered is if you can tell a story with the empowering message wrapped in, then you have the opportunity to gain their attention, right? So I want to tell you this. My son, he's small like I was. I was always the smallest kid in class. My son is the smallest kid. Last year, he goes to a new school. He's in a brand new school, smallest kid, first day, gets picked on, just getting called small a little bit by one kid. It's a great classroom. He's never been bullied again. It was just getting picked on. He comes home, he's sad. And I'm thinking, I went through the same exact stuff. I was always the smallest kid, not by a little bit, but by a lot. I went into 10th grade at 4'9", 90 pounds. I mean, everybody hit puberty but me. I knew what it felt like, and I just wanted to tell them, look what I've done, and it inspired me, it motivated, it drove me to be success. I found another level once I got there, so I wanted to tell him all that, and I realized he won't give two craps about me. It's about him. So I came up with this story. I just wing it, and I come up with this story called Tooth, instead of Tooth. I made up this story about this one-tooth werewolf. I said he went to school, his mom was human. His dad was a werewolf. He has patches of hair. He's got one snaggle tooth. He looks horrible. Goes to school. Everybody makes fun of him, Brody. And they're getting interested. Both my kids are listening. I'm like, yeah, he goes to school, and some days he's got extra patches of hair. He's really hard to look at. And he gets picked on, and he goes home, and he's sad every day, and he doesn't want to go to school. He just wants to quit. But then one day, he's going to school, and he sees the bully that always picks on him. And when he got out of the car, the bully got out of the car with his dad, he saw his dad picking on the bully and was really rude and mean to him and pushed him and gave him no love. And I said, then Tooth at that very moment realized it has nothing to do with the outside. It's got to do with who you are on the inside. And the weird part is, it seems weird, but Tooth went up to the bully and hugged him, and the bully's like, what are you doing? And he said, I don't care if you're mean to me. I saw what happens to you, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And at that moment, Tooth realized he was perfect the way he was. Didn't matter, small, big, hairy, one tooth, all those things. And then the bully and him became friends, and then they got on the basketball team, and I just told this story, and he got it. And then the worst part about it, they loved it so much, like, what's the next story? What happened next? I had to take like 20 iterations. I ran out of Tooth stories. I mean, the last one I was like, he had an aunt that farted a lot, and then they were just laughing because I said fart. And anyway, they loved this story. But when my son got done, that story impacted him, and he listened to every moment. So I still got to tell the lesson. I just wrapped it in a story. Make sense? Okay, number 6, reward good behavior unexpectedly. Again, this is a lot about me and my kids and my family. I'm talking a lot about me. I have a great audience. I might as well just, talk about me, right? What else? But I realized with my son, he's 8 years old, he's an ambitious young boy that likes to move, he's always doing stuff. And there's always things he's doing that I feel like he's just needling, and he does these little things wrong. Like he loves to eat sitting way back, and every day he drops stuff on his shirt, every day. And every day I'm like, Bud, just lean forward. Bud, just get your own work. And I realized that I was picking on a lot of shit that he did wrong. And I wasn't picking up on, and forgot to remind him that he's been playing baseball since he's 3 years old. He played on the star team as the smallest kid, batted first, best batting average, and best player on the team at the smallest kid on the team, fastest kid on the team, and not because he got lucky, because he practices when it's 110 degrees in Phoenix. He'll still want to go outside and throw for an hour. He gets up early to practice before school. Like, I forgot those little things, and I was picking on the things that went wrong, and I was screwing with his confidence. I know I was, by not reminding him or rewarding him unexpectedly for his good behavior, for his stuff. And when I recognized that, I changed. And I want to give 3 compliments to one thing that I want him to correct. And when that was evident, it made a massive impact on our relationship. Number 7, be the person you want them to be. They feel incongruency. And we talk about cheating on our taxes at the dinner table, and then we don't want them to cheat in school. Right? We want them to eat healthy, but we don't have healthy food in our house. We don't want our kids to drink too much, but they watch us maybe drink too much. Not that drinking's bad. I like glasses of wine, all that. I'm just saying what happens is I realize kids don't become who you tell them to be. They become who you are. You're just a mirror, and they feel the incongruency. I watch my kids when I'll tell them something that I'm not practicing perfectly. I'll tell them. I'll be upset that they left something out, and I'll realize that I left something out. And my daughter will literally go, really? And she'll look right at it. Like, they feel it. They know it, right? But we'll tell them, pick up your room, do this, do your chores, get there on time. But if we're not doing those things, they're going to follow and become who we are. So no, it's about congruency. They will become who you are and model what you do. The last one is be the observer of your thoughts and how they affect them. So I'm going to tell you a story about my daughter. Because at this phase in my life, there could be nothing more important to me when people ask me, hey, what's the biggest secret to your success? Or I get done with a podcast or a TV interview, and somebody will say, leave us with one thing for young people to take. And that message to the world or who's ever watching would have been different through different phases of my life. Now it's be the observer of your thoughts. The person you are and the person you want to become, the things standing between you and your next level of life are the thoughts and the stories you have. As much as we've heard that over the years, you've read it in 20 different books, as I evolve at this phase of my life, I realize it's only our thoughts that make us happy. It's only our thoughts that make us succeed, fail, anxious, anxiety, depressed, happy, fulfilled. It's always our thoughts. And when you can step back and observe those thoughts and see as they come in and realize that thought screws with me, that thought empowers me, that thought's good for my business, that thought's good for my family. When you can observe thoughts, and I'm not perfect at it, but that's my evolution of where I want to be. I want the ability to observe every thought that comes in and keep those that serve me, and the ones that don't serve me, I use as research and development and move on. But here I want to tell you a story about my daughter. So she comes home. We're at breakfast. Me, my son, and my daughter. We're at breakfast. I want to tell this story right, so it seems so you really understand it. My son has this amazing memory. My daughter's like me, more like the visionary. My son will be the implementer. If they go in business together, they will be amazing. She dreams up great stuff. He likes to put it in play. So we're sitting at the kitchen table. He's got these crayons that are like fancy crayons. They're not just like red and blue. They're like dark magenta sunset and all these crazy names, like 3 names long, and he's got the pack of 50, and he pulls them out. I'm like, dude, cool colors. And he names the first one, and I said, wow. He pulls out the second one. He goes through the entire pack of 50 and knows every single name. I couldn't remember all 50 if I studied for 3 months. So he goes through that packet, he gets done, and my daughter sees the praise, and we're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And my daughter goes, I could do that. Let me just study him for a few minutes. And I said, babe, we're all given we're given unique abilities by God. That's not mine. Maybe it's yours, but just know that you're the type that would create those type of crayons. And she's like, no, I could do it. She goes and studies it. She comes back. She gets the first one wrong, second one wrong, third one wrong. And then she looks right at me and gets sad and starts to cry. And she said, it's because you spend more time with Brody. And it hit my heart, and she's crying over it. And so my first reaction was, I said, Bree, don't lie to yourself, and don't lie to me. That's not true. I work my butt off to be equal time. I give you both equal time, and that's not right. Now, stop what you're doing. Stop those feelings. And anyway, long story short, she got dressed. It was the first day ever she went to school without kissing me since the day she started going to school. She leaves, and I'm like, that was a good parenting moment. And then I took a moment to observe my thoughts. And all of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, oh my God. Because I have this practice of observing my thoughts, I analyzed that and said, no, that was a parenting move my parents would have done, not the way I want to raise my kids. I just told my daughter her feelings don't matter. It doesn't matter if it was true or not. She felt it in that moment, and maybe that particular week, I did spend more time with Brody, but that's how she felt. It didn't matter. And what I realized is if she was married to a man, and she expressed her feelings to a man, and he said to her, be quiet, I don't care what you're thinking, it's wrong, you're telling yourself a lie, now shut up, basically, I'd kick his ass. And if I couldn't, I'd get one of my cousins to do it. I mean, that's what you do when you're in New York and you're Italian, right? So I literally jump in my car. This is no exaggeration. I blow through every light. I couldn't help it. I'm a little obsessive. I drive 100 miles an hour to her school. I get to her school. I know what class she's in. You know when you go to school, you just got to go to the principal and then or the office, and then they give you a little tag and you sign in and permission. I just jumped the wall. And literally, and I was thinking afterwards, it would be great if my daughter watched the security guard tackle me halfway across the playground field. That would have been a really great defining moment in my life. So I just jumped the wall, and I walk over to her classroom. I knocked on the door, and I said, can I talk to Brianna? She looked at me crazy. She came out. I knew it was bothering her, and I just got on one knee, and I said, baby, Dad was completely wrong. I said, I'm so sorry. I would never want you in a million years to think that your feelings are not important. Your feelings matter. If you felt that way, then let's work on it. But never let me or any man or any woman or any person tell you your feelings don't matter. And she just gave me the biggest hug, and I left there on cloud 9. I left there, the radio blasting in my car. I felt like $1 million. I tell you that whole story because it never would have happened if I'm not in this practice of trying to observe my thoughts. So now why did I tell you all that? And you're like, man, I wanted to hear some stuff about my business, and this guy told me about parenting. That's cool. Maybe I don't have parents. Maybe my kids are growing up. Okay, so if I look back on my life, if I look back on the success I had and all the things that I've done right, the number one thing I want to stress to you guys is what got me here is I'm damn good at marketing. I obsess on it. I spend every day of my life trying to get better and quicker. But why did I share about the kids? Because, how about this? The same things that made me a great dad are the same 8 things that make me a great marketer. You think about your prospects. Think about your clients. Think about the people you do business with. People buy from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you. People come up on a stage. How many times have you watched somebody on stage and they're on stage and they share so much about themselves and what they do, and you love and you're inspired by them, but you don't take action? You don't go buy their product if they're offering a product. You don't go Google them when you're done. You just go, oh, that guy, that girl, she was great. But when you're sitting in the audience, how does it feel? Or you're online watching a video. How does it feel when you go, that girl, she gets me. She understands me. How does that feel? Right? That's when you follow them. That's when you go to their social media. That's when you get their products. That's when you go to the next level and watch and want to be a part of what they have. Right or wrong? Okay, so people will buy from you, learn from you, and respect you when they feel understood, not when they just understand you. Remember that. Another one is enter their world and finish sentences in their heads. You see, what happens a lot of times, you start a company and you are, especially if you're in the information business, but any company, you start a company and you start with one person, 5 people, and you're building this company, and you are living in the mind of your prospects. You're living in the mind of your clients. But then all of a sudden, your company evolves and you got to get a CFO and a personal assistant. And now I need an accountant and a bookkeeper. Oh, now we need a customer service department. And who's going to get the CRM and the technical? And we have to build an IT department. And all of a sudden, you're evolving into a business owner. You are the brains behind the start of this company, the passion, because you lived inside the pain of your prospect. You lived inside the pleasure that your prospect is seeking, and all of a sudden then you're getting a new house and you join the country club and your thoughts start going in a completely different direction. And then you want to outsource your marketing and outsource your messaging, and you think someone else is going to find that same passion you had. And I just watch it screw up companies all the time. You or someone on your team has to always live in the mind of your prospect. Camp a tent in the mind of your prospect. Know what they feel, what their fears are, their desires, and everything. When you do, and you finish sentences in their head, then you're the one that they're going to go to in this world where there's so much competition. When problems arise, instead of blame, find the root cause. I've searched the internet for years, especially I'm an infomercial guy. I've had infomercial on TV for 17 years. You know what it's like to be an infomercial guy? People don't trust you first. You have to prove that you're not like the rest. So I'd search everywhere online and I'd find negative comments, and I always told my team, there's got to be a little bit of truth in all of it. So let's just find the root cause and why they think that about me, and let's change it. And I became obsessive on that. I've read tens of thousands of posts from my students to find out what they really think, what they really feel, and have the courage to go deep and solve that problem on the root cause. Number 4, be authentic and enthusiastic. They know when they know when you truly care. If you have a list, if you have a client base, if you have people that gave you money and have faith in you, be authentic. You can be authentic and enthusiastic and outdo your competitors because they just don't get it. Instead of just processes and systems, be obsessed on how they feel. And they truly know when you care. Did you ever get on someone's list, the email list, and you know it's just discount, offer, offer, discount. You get on somebody like Brendan, and all of a sudden you get love and great videos and training at the end. There's not even an offer. You're like, what's this guy do? I mean, I've been doing a weekly wisdom for my students every week for 8 years. Every single week. Tell them fun stories with empowering messages. Marketing is storytelling. Tell good stories, sell more of what you do. Sometimes you get somebody that just, especially when we're new, we want to craft the perfect webinar. We want to craft the perfect sales message. We want to craft all these things for marketing to push people to us. And we obsess on it, and we study things, and we should, and study copywriting and marketing, and come to amazing events like this to gain capabilities, when sometimes one of your own stories told right could be more powerful than anything you could ever figure out. Your unique stories, your unique gift, the reason you were put on this earth, and the stories that are wrapped around that will compel and inspire people more than the perfect sales script in some cases. Does that make sense? Number 6, reward good behavior unexpectedly. That's kind of going off of what I said before. But whoever your clients are, whatever you do for a living, if you have an email list or just a client list, I've been doing weekly wisdoms, which I call them. It's a weekly video I do every single week. Been doing it for 8 years. I've been doing them for free. Doesn't matter if you buy something from me or not. And here's what I know from doing that, where there's a gift in their email inbox every single week for me. There's never an offer at the end of it. It's always just value. I know that my clients like opening up my emails. They open them up all the time. I've built reciprocity with them by giving them that value when they didn't ask for it. And I know when I do a live event and there's 5,000 people in the room and I get to shake some of the VIP hands or whatever, I try to meet as many people as I can. They'll come up and go, you know what? I saw you on TV 4 years ago and I just wasn't ready, but I've been watching your weekly wisdoms. You gave me all this value, and finally I said, the hell with it. I'm being a part of your VIP program. I'm cutting you a check for 50 grand or 100 grand or 25 grand or whatever that is in your business that it equates to. Because I gave them, I rewarded their behavior of raising their hand and say, I want another level of life. If someone was brave enough just to click a link and say, I want to reward them for that unexpectedly. So think about that in your business. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I own 300 rental houses around the country. I started sending out 6 months in, people who rented a house from me and paid 6 months on time. I started sending them a $25 gift card to Starbucks and just said, thanks for being someone who pays the rent on time. Do you know our vacancy rate dropped by like 13%? We almost eliminated our vacancy rate because I gave them a gift unexpected. Number 7, be the person you want them to be. They feel incongruency. Don't sell a weight loss product and be overweight. Don't sell a time management program when you're late for everything. Whatever it is that you serve, eat your own dog food. When you do that, they feel it and you go to another level because you live in the same place that you're trying to sell them into. Everyone feels incongruency. And last, be the observer of your thoughts. They affect and how they affect you and how they affect them. Our thoughts are the only thing standing between us and our next level of life. Take what serves you. Watch your thoughts. Make 5 stars next to the things that can affect your life. Throw away the rest. Go home and take action. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.